Good afternoon, Fin fans, and welcome back to another episode of Phins News. In this episode, we're going to be looking at day 1 and day 2 of Veterans Minicamp for the Miami Dolphins. So without further ado, let's just get right into it, shall we? So the only reason I didn't do two separate videos for day 1 and day 2 is because I'm sure you guys are all aware now. Day 1 was a pretty rough day for this offense. And I just didn't want to come onto this stream and start talking negative about certain players and just getting our fan base up in arms about, oh, you're a hater. Oh, you're just looking at all the negatives. It's only June. You need to relax. So I held off. I kind of wanted to see how day 1 and day 2 both went, because if both days were horrible for the offense, then I would say it's still too early to panic because we're in June. But there's something to this because from all the reports we were hearing prior that this offense was blowing it out of the water. There was players on the defense going to Chris Greer saying how much this offense has evolved, and they were so shocked at how it evolved. So I wanted to take a step back and just wait and see how both days progressed, right? So we all know the first day with the beat reporters out there, they did say the offense was the worst part of the team on the field. I mean, they struggled all day. The defensive line was jumping up, batting down the balls, not only from Tua, they were doing it from Bridgewater and Skylar Thompson, so it was an all-day thing. That had me kind of worried about our line, saying, did we really improve our line, right? Because one thing of the line has to do is be able to keep the defensive line's hands down for the most part, and if they were just getting tip balls all day, something had to change there, right? But if you actually look a little deeper into that on day 1, we didn't have some of our linemen playing. We didn't, like Teron Armstead didn't practice, so we seen Jalen Phillips get off the ball, and they said he had a couple sacks and maybe a strip fumble. I was getting kind of worrisome about that, saying why, without Agba practicing, why is Jalen Phillips just killing Teron Armstead after we paid him all this money, right? But Teron Armstead didn't play. He's coming in slowly. He's a veteran. He's not working in team drills and anything like that as of now. So he's kind of just mentoring the young linemen and trying to get them into shape, in which I love to see, because we have so many young linemen on this team where we needed a veteran guy like Teron Armstead. I never agreed with the approach we took as far as getting all these young linemen in and only one veteran really, and Jesse Davis. I mean, first of all, Jesse Davis wasn't that good of a player to be mentoring all these young guys. Now we got a proven commodity in Teron Armstead with a bunch of young linemen in there, and Connor Williams, obviously. But Teron Armstead is going to be able to mentor guys like Austin Jackson, guys like Liam Eichenberg, even guys like Michael Dieter, even because he's a proven commodity in this league and one of the best tackles in this league. So there's going to be these young players trying to gravitate to him and learn what he has learned in this league. So I love to see that. At first, I was kind of scared. I was like, boy, Teron Armstead's getting, maybe we got him when he's a little past his prime. But seeing that he wasn't practicing, it made me feel a little better about this line. But everyone on this line has to improve. In order for Tua to be a successful quarterback this year, with the weapons he has, this line is going to have to develop. And I know it's only June. Not really worried about it. I'm not really worried about how Tua, as the beat reporter said, took his lumps in day 1. I get it. He's still young, but it didn't scare me really, but it was definitely like an eye opener. Like, Tua was leaps and bounds ahead of leaps and bounds ahead of what he showed the first 2 years, and then come day 1 of Veterans Minicamp, when we actually had our veterans there, he went back to how he was the previous 2 years. But I mean, guys are going to take their lumps. I mean, it was the first day of Veterans Minicamp, and I did see Xavier Howard and Byron Jones both weren't there for team drills, so they weren't a part of that portion. So we still had like Iganagami and other young corners guarding these receivers. But But I'm not going to get on here and start bashing Tua. I'm not going to get on here and start bashing our offense or our head coach Mike McDaniel because of one lackluster offensive practice. The reason why is because if you go look at day 2, even though before we go to day 2, let me finish off by saying day 1, I know Tua took his lumps, okay? It's nothing to be concerned about yet, but we need to see like 5, 6, 7 practices before they like break out until they get to training camp. We need to see the rest of these practices. Tua comes out and balls out. I like what I've seen after day 1 in his struggles. He came back. That means he's mentally strong, mentally prepared. He's not as mentally fragile as a lot of people thought after the first 2 years in this league with Brian Flores. So you do like to see that, but he has to be consistent because even last year, the thing Tua was good at is being consistently inconsistent, right? He would have a good game and then another okay game and then 2 bad games or 2 lackluster games, and he would have an okay game, 2 lackluster games. We can't have that. It has to be consistent. He's going to go through times in this season, and I promise you guys he will, where he's going to have a bad stretch of the season. Every quarterback in this NFL has a 1 to 2 or 2 to 3 game stretch of just bad quarterback play, right? I'm not going to kill the kid for it. But he's going to have 14 really good weeks, especially with our schedule, especially with the AFC, how loaded it is. He's going to have at least 14 not phenomenal games. I'm not saying he's like the elite of the elite, but he's going to have 14 really good games in order to get us to where we want to be as far as making it to the playoffs, winning a game or 2 in the playoffs. With this roster, with the talent on this roster, there should be no excuses on why if everything comes together, if our offense gels like we think it's going to gel with offensive-minded coach like Mike McDaniel, that Tua can't have 14 really good games. Maybe 2, maybe 3 so-so games, or even maybe 1 really bad game. But he has to be consistent week in and week out to be able to be called our franchise quarterback moving forward, because we all know this is his season, guys. The third year, everyone's talking about it. If he doesn't perform this year, most likely the Miami Dolphins are going to get rid of him. And that's no secret. Everyone's talking about that in every platform, so it's not like I'm the only one saying it. But anyway, after day 1, there are all these keyboard warriors came out, and all these people talking down to Tua. He can't throw the deep ball. Oh, Iganagami broke up a pass when Waddle had him beat, but Tua underthrew him. He can't throw deep. How is this team going to succeed with these fast weapons without a quarterback can throw the deep? And then comes day 2. Day 2, Tua balls out, which we all want to see. We should all be happy to see. Tua balling out, throwing dimes, 50-plus yard dimes to Tyreek Hill, to Jalen Waddle, and it was just a completely opposite feel from day 1 to day 2. Even the beat reporters talking about how Tua looked phenomenal. He's the talk of the town. He was throwing 50-yard dimes in stride. Receivers didn't have to wait for the ball, and that's the kind of stuff we want to hear. That's the stuff that brings energy to this fan base. That's the type of stuff that builds confidence for the quarterback. And you know what I like most of all about how Tua came back after the rough day 1 and blew it out of the water day 2? I loved how confident he was. I love how he was afterwards, and they interviewed him in the media. He got a little spicy with the media. He started talking about how these keyboard warriors don't think that I can throw the ball 50-plus yards, and he didn't understand where that narrative came from. It showed that he had the confidence. It showed that he wasn't scared to talk about what people are talking about him. I mean, usually the first 2 years he was kind of like he always said the right things in the media or says what he thinks the people wanted to hear. Well, if you guys have time, go and listen to his interview with the media after day 2 of minicamp, and he was a little spicy, had a little attitude. He started talking about these keyboard warriors on the internet or people that aren't even around the team trying to say that he doesn't know how to throw the ball deep. It was a really good interview, and I challenge each and every one of you guys to actually go and look at it. It's not that long of a video, but just to see that personality, just to see that growing confidence that he knows he has what it takes to be successful this year, and he doesn't care what anyone outside of this organization is going to say, because at the end of the day, like he said, they're keyboard warriors. They have nothing to do with his career. They have nothing to do with his life, and he's just going to try to be the best version of himself day in and day out. And as far as a starting quarterback and their mentality, that's all you can ask for, guys. I mean, a guy to go out there with that confidence, knowing that he has doubters, people doubting him, thinking he's not going to be a successful quarterback in this league. Even national media reports, I mean, you know the guys that are saying he's not going to be that good. I mean, Colin Cowherd was high on him at the beginning when he was getting drafted, and then he kind of fell off, cooled off on him. He doesn't think he's anything special. You got Shannon Sharp. I mean, he was high on Tua, and now he thinks he's just going to be an ordinary, okay quarterback. He knows his doubters. You can tell it in that interview. He's getting kind of frustrated. He's thinking, man, I was one of the top-notch college quarterbacks in the league a few years ago. Everyone could say nothing wrong about me, but it's easy for national media guys to tear you down as fast as they built you up, and he's realizing that now. He's becoming a professional, and you can see it in his tone. He means business while he's even talking to the media. He's not going to be a timid interviewer anymore, I don't believe. I think and that's because of his confidence. He knows what he has. He knows what he has to do. He knows what the end goal is this year, and if he doesn't perform, he's most likely going to be on another team next year. But just to see the confidence, and I think it all stems from, like I said in my previous video, it's all stemming from he finally has a coach I feel that he feels has his back and is going to go to war with them. And I think maybe as far as what Tua needed, that's all he needed to be a successful quarterback in this league. But I just wanted to make a quick video, guys, just to let you guys know what's going on with day 1 and day 2 of veteran minicamp. I know day 1 he took his lumps as far as what the beat reporter said. It wasn't a good day. The defense shined on day 1. Skylar Thompson, actually our 7th round pick, he had a good minicamp that day. He was better than any quarterback that was participating. If it was Tua or Teddy Bridgewater, Skylar Thompson had the best day, which is, I mean, that's good for us, guys. It's not like any shade being put on Tua. I mean, if we can develop a Skylar Thompson, a 7th round pick, to being a really cheap backup or trade bait in the future, if we can develop him right, I mean, we spent a 7th round pick and we can flip him for something else, or he can be a really cheap backup for us since we got him in the 7th round. But seeing how he was better than everyone, that's a really good thing to see. The beat reporters have had nothing but good things to say about him. And as far as, I mean, there's no QB competition. I'm not saying that, guys. He's going to be on the practice squad most likely. I mean, he might get called up if one of the quarterbacks get injured throughout the year. But we're working on developing this kid. But it's good to see that he had a good veterans mini camp. I mean, especially without being a rookie, and he was the best quarterback of the day, which, I mean, has to feel good for him. But day 2 was all about Tua. Like the beat reporter said, he was the talk of the town. Everyone had nothing but good things to say about him after day 2, and that's what we like to see after a rough first day. Day 2, come back and ball out. But that's the reason really why I wanted to make the video, guys, just to give you guys the latest around the Dolphins organization. I'll probably be back unless anything is any breaking news this weekend, which is unlikely. I'll be back Monday talking about the news surrounding the Dolphins organization and just getting us ready for training camp and then eventually preseason. We got a lot of good things coming our way on this channel, and I just want to thank each and every one of you guys, like I always say, for subscribing to the channel, to helping this community grow organically, and it's just getting bigger and better, and I appreciate each and every one of y'all for that. I love each and every one of y'all. I'll see you guys back on Monday with another one. Fins up. I'm out. Peace.